Join us today for part 2 of our Historic Jamestown Island visit. Today we're going to look at the Archaearium building, which sits on the property. It's a 7,500 square foot building that opened in 2006. This building overlooks the original site of Jamestown settlement. This building sits on a series of pilings that are actually parts of the foundation of Jamestown's State House from the 1700s, and you can actually see it through glass portals in the floor. For more than 25 years, all of the archaeological excavations have helped us understand more about the life at James Fort and the English settlers that lived there. This archaearium is a great addition to Historic Jamestown. It is filled with artifacts that the archaeologists have uncovered through the years. Among them are tools, coins, personal items, religious objects, you name it. They are here on display, and so fascinating to see these articles and know that they were uncovered here at Historic Jamestown. Each item was cataloged and numbered and told exactly what each item was, where they came from, and what they were used for. This guy, Richard Mutton, was one of the original colonists who came over on one of the 3 ships. He made the trip to America, but sadly died within the first year. It's amazing what the scientists could tell by studying their teeth. At one point, they could even tell they had resorted to cannibalism. This was at a point in time when they were starving. The people who had already died, they ate them. You would have to be pretty desperate to resort to cannibalism. In their excavation, they even found remains of butchered horses and dogs, so they were quite desperate to survive. They even found pins and sewing needles. Most of the items that they found had been brought over from England. But they were items that the colonists used because the colonists had not yet begun to produce things here. They even had various sizes of cannonballs that they used in their artillery. And the interesting thing was, there were also photographs of the archaeologists as they uncovered these items. At various places throughout the museum, they had QR codes that you could scan with your phone to watch a video about a certain item or display. Pipe smoking was huge back then, and they have literally found hundreds of pipes in their excavations. They had all sorts of buttons and pins on display that they had found, along with a whole myriad of tools. The tools they had on display were used by carpenters, bricklayers, leather workers, blacksmiths, you name it, they had tools. It's amazing that these artifacts have survived for these hundreds of years, but they made things to last back then. The Powhatan Indian men were well-documented visitors to James Fort, and some were even believed to live among the colonists. There were nearly 48,000 native pieces of pottery found throughout the fort, and that provides evidence that the Indians supported the struggling settlers. Over 2,000 beads made of mussel shells were found in the fort area, which could be evidence that the Powhatan women were living in the fort as well. Beads were a very important trade item that the Native Americans used with the English. This is a piece of slate that the Native Americans had made carvings in. Pocahontas, who is now Rebecca Rolfe after she married John Rolfe, moved to England in 1616 with her son Thomas and her husband and never returned. She left her homeland to go to England to promote the new Virginia colony and was never able to return to her beloved homeland. She has been referred to as the Mother of Two Nations. If you ever visit the Historic Triangle, which is Jamestown, Williamsburg, and Yorktown, you will want to spend several days. We were there an entire week, and it was still hard to see everything. They even found numerous fishing hooks and fishing equipment, which makes me wonder why were they starving when they were right by the James River and could fish. We were told that the first bunch of settlers that came over were not proficient at fishing. These are some remains of objects that they found down in an old cellar. The English were constantly smoking tobacco, which stands to reason that there were pipes found everywhere. John Smith wrote about the early settlement in Virginia. True Travels was published in 1629. The Jamestown settlement on Jamestown Island consisted of the visitor center, the old town ruins, the place where the fort once stood. They had a snack shop and the Archaearium where all the artifacts are kept. The Jamestown Visitor Center is open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You could literally spend the entire day on Jamestown Island, seeing all there is to see, and that is exactly what we did. Seeing all of these artifacts and imagining the settlers using them was absolutely amazing, and something we'll never forget. If you would like to see more of our videos, click the video that just popped up on your screen